Let me also welcome Madhav Sheth of Realme into the discussion now. Madhav, thank you very much for joining in. I want to complete the point about 5G for consumers, and then we'll get chatting about enterprise and how we can make India a global powerhouse. Now, for 5G to be ubiquitous, we also need 5G-enabled handsets to be fairly cheap. What is the price range? That would be ideal.
First of all, thank you very much for hosting me over here, and thank you all the panelists. I've been old friends to a few of them. I think talking about the pricing of the 5G, the need of an hour is to bring in more affordable 5G phones in India. Because I always believe that basically if we do not have the devices, more affordable devices will not bring the adoption of 5G. And that is extremely crucial. So we at Realme, even before the 5G services have launched, we were the first one to launch the 5G devices in India. We have already have more than 5 million users who already are on 5G in India at this point of time. Ranging from our all set of handsets, and more than 50% of the portfolio would be 5G. What we are trying to bring is about $100, $150 price segments, $150 plus price segments to bring to 5G as well. And I think that's what the vision we carry in 2022 and 2023. Probably doing that, I believe that basically because handsets, as I said, is one of the most crucial part for adopting 5G, being the hub for controlling all the AIoT ecosystem devices. Where he said about B2B, I said B2C also would be one of the biggest thing. Everything around you, which is conventional, will move to smart, which means that basically everything will be controlled through a smartphone, which means that basically rural people will be more connected to the urbans. And that is the most important part where the AIoT ecosystem will come into play. So for us, the most important role is to make sure that how many more and more people come onto the 5G handset devices.
And for that, you're saying the price should be $150 or even lower?
We have a handsets already starting from $150. Right?
Okay.
What we are trying to bring is to bring more affordable 5G phones into the ecosystem.
And that would be $100?
That's something which is not possible at the current point of time, but probably yes. I think through the ecosystem players over a period of time, maybe it would be possible. It's also all about the economies of scale. It's not possible just on the segments, but the people adoption after the services rollout will also play a crucial factor on this particular fact.
Akhil, on pricing. Right? Globally, the experience has been that 5G pricing is not at a significant premium to 4G, maybe at best 10%. What is your sense of 5G pricing? And would you say that telecom companies and operators have not made a return which is commensurate with their capital investment into migrating from 3G to 4G. Now, 4G, for instance, enabled a whole world of applications, right? It ushered in the app economy. It helped the rise of SaaS economies. But it's not that operators financially benefited so much. So your thoughts, first on 5G ARPU, how much higher do you think it can be? And then do you think telcos have not been able to maximize and benefit from this?
Well, the financial health of the operators, you're touching a very raw nerve, so I'll talk about it later. Let me step back and talk about the use cases, though it's not part of the question, because it's very importantly linked to the pricing. I think one very important use case which we all miss is the mobile services itself. I mean, the fact remains that with the handset penetration, 5G will be used for mobile services, the maximum. Then comes the home broadband, then come the enterprises, and also please don't forget that all the technological advancement will need more and more bandwidth. Therefore, this is the bedrock that will be needed. On the pricing, well, I think it really depends on the scale. My feeling is that ultimately, if the penetration of handsets is very quickly, it will be another service.
And I must say that in 5G, maybe we're 2.5 years behind. 6G, both India and China have said 2030 is when we would be looking at 6G auctions. So we're going to be, right there with the rest of the world when it comes to 6G, and we're bridging that gap very, very fast. Anand, you constantly speak to a lot of companies. You're working with so many partners in this entire ecosystem. What are your conversations like?
See, I think the conversations with our clients and our customers and governments are primarily around 2 or 3 areas. What could be, see, one important thing is with this mobile economy, apps are becoming the business. How do you enable the apps to sort of be more 5G ready, have more and more better user experience, That is what the conversation is. How do I sort of leverage the power of 5G, which enables certain technologies like segment routing, which gives you a fit for use bandwidth is the way I would call it, right? Somebody needs a batch processing, which requires a huge amount of data to go through. Somebody requires a very, very low latency to perform certain type of applications. I think those are the conversations that are going on both on the consumer front and from a business perspective as well.
Madhav, you said Realme has shipped out 5 million 5G handset. If we meet 1 year down the line, what would that number look like? Incrementally, if you're selling 5 phones, how many of them are 5G now?
50% of our portfolios are 5G. As per some recent data which we studied about, by 2027 there will be 500 million 5G users in India with handsets having on their hands. So I believe there's a huge potential of 5G. As I said, anything above $150 going forward would be moving towards 5G probably. So more than our current 50% of our portfolio is 5G at this point of time. And we intend to continue to grow on that particular point.
Mr. Rajaraman, one final question then. What is next on the government's agenda? What are the milestones we should expect?
See, when we look at the previous generations of technologies in the telecom sector, I think the manufacturing and service, design in India, that bus was missed. So this is where the government is very focused. I think the CEO Niti Aayog is there, I think, so here. So the yes. So he was the architect of the PLI revolution. So essentially, manufacturing in India, I think, is the biggest challenge, I think. So, and therefore, I think the PLI scheme has laid the foundation for getting in manufacturers within the country, in which he talked about. But I think we have gone one step further, and we have also put in place a design-linked insurance scheme, incentive scheme, wherein we are providing incentives for companies to make designs in India. The IP should be registered in India. So we are not resting with that. We have we are also working with on research and development. In fact, we have the budget announced a 5% USOF R&D fund, so which will amount to nearly about 500 crores per year. So we are going to fund a number of companies in India to actually to do deep research and come out with their own designs. And let me say that in 4G, I think we have a number of local companies which have come out with radio access networks. They have also come out with core designs. C-Dot has come out with its 4G core, which has been tested recently. And in 5G, we are already there. There are a number of companies with networks in a box for enterprise. There are companies which already have a radio access network. So I guess the focus will be on R&D and developing technologies which are domestic.
And 5G will be that backbone to spur India's manufacturing. Gentlemen, this has been a fascinating conversation. Thank you very much for your time, information, and insights.
In the next episode, industry experts come together to focus on how organizations can adopt agile security testing methods and why the security boundaries of various players must be extended to the end users, third parties, and other ecosystem partners in a panel discussion titled Securing the Cashless Payment Ecosystem.